It is raining like the level of like summer, like rainy season raining. It is like raining right now. And it's December 11th. Like, it should not be raining. This should be snow. If this was snow, though, like, this whole town would be shut down because it is like very heavily raining right now. So, rest in peace, guys. The earth is melting. But yeah, today I'm going to make a video about Korean Gen Alpha because I don't have any like actual contact with like other countries' Gen Alphas. I mean, I know people who do have contact with them, and like some of my friends' kids are them, but um I don't have any personal experience with Gen Alpha, and I've been watching a lot of like videos talking about like Gen Alpha is doomed. Like, I don't think they're doomed. That's my hot take. I don't think they're doomed. I do think that they are living in a very like weird time, and like they're also like living in a time that is like in a big transition in a different way that I think like Gen X and Gen Z or Gen us millennials transition was, because I feel like millennials transition was like I mean, honestly, I guess it was economic, but I mean, like, it was economic. There was like, I mean, now there's wars too, but I mean, like, like there was wars, and it was like economic. It was like technological, and I feel like for Gen Alpha, it's also technological. There's wars. I don't know if the wars are like directly affecting some of them, but they also were like really, really affected by COVID. Like that had to be wild for them because I mean, like as adults, like COVID was crazy. Like that was a weird time. Like thinking back on it, like this is gonna sound really like kind of messed up, but like sometimes COVID was like a little bit nostalgic in a way because like the lack of interaction was like somehow it was different. Like I feel like not just like Zoom meetings, but you know what I mean? Like I feel like you weren't expected to be places as much, and like you definitely could cuz I saw a video about people in Japan how they're like really reluctant to like stop wearing masks. Like people will wear masks not because of the weather or their health, but they'll just like wear them because they don't want to be like perceived by other people. And like I don't know, I feel like during COVID, like things were different. Like there was definitely less people outside. There was that weird period in Korea where like there was a curfew. Not really a curfew, like it wasn't like China, it wasn't like a curfew, but like you could not eat in or drink in restaurants after like midnight or something. I think it was midnight. It started like early. Like at first it was like 10 p.m. or something, and then they moved it down to midnight, and then it got later, and then they got rid of it. But like I remember like there was a while where like, and you had to like do your QR code and stuff. But I remember there was a while where like people were just like getting blasted by like 9 p.m. because they like the bar was closed, so people would just like go to eat, and they'd like you know get messed up real fast. Like I feel like that contributed to some people becoming binge drinkers because they wanted to get their like times worth of like being out in public and drinking. I don't know. That was a wild time. It was honestly crazy. And like I don't know. I feel like if I was a kid, it'd be really weird to like not see my classmates' face. Like I have 2 years of students that I like literally have no idea what they look like. I think I ran into two of my students in downtown, and they said, "Hi, like is it you? Like are you our teacher?" And I was like, "Yeah, what school did you go to?" Yeah, definitely. I never saw their faces in my life, so I really didn't recognize them in downtown. Like, I have students that I taught like 10 years ago, low key, that I've seen in public, but without a mask, and I know it's them. But like, when they were like wearing a mask, I really don't know like what my students look like. They could like come up to me and like, I have no idea who they are. Like, it just didn't, I don't know. But that definitely has an effect on Gen Alpha, because Gen Alpha is different. They are different people. So I actually did make notes this time, so it's not as crazy, as chaotic as normal, but it could be a little chaotic because I just drank a highball and I only ate ramen. So it is what it is. So most of my friends, I will just preface, this is the preface section. I'm struggling. This is the preface section. Most of my friends are either Gen X or millennials or cuspers. I think my youngest friend is a cusper. So that means like everybody was born from like either the early 80s to like 1997. Which, like, that seems crazy. 1997, like, I was like already in elementary school. Like, that's weird that they were born. But I think my youngest friend is a cusper, so she was like 97, I think, but I'm not sure exactly. And basically, this is my last year teaching Gen Z. Because I looked it up. Gen Zs are right now, they're like 11 going on 12 years old. And I used to teach them. So like up until now I taught Gen Z. I guess the end of Gen Z before it turned to Gen Alpha. And like they were okay, honestly. Like in some ways I feel like Gen Z is very similar to, I think Gen Z is very similar to millennials, as much as like millennials would like to shit on like Zoomers. I think Zoomers are like honestly quite similar to millennials. It's just like millennials have different like nostalgia, because like I can attest to that. Like I feel like I have like a lot of nostalgia for like the 80s, like the late 80s, early 90s. I have a lot of nostalgia for like technologies that I used during like high school years, like I guess formative year technologies and music. So I like understand why like Gen Z seems different, because they don't have nostalgia to those things, but they also like some of them like really want to like participate in them. Like I feel like Gen Z is like really likes like can't think of the word. They really like the millennium, like the Y2K fashion. They like it a lot. Like they do it a lot. And I feel like they like it because like they don't have like the memories attached to it. Cuz I'm like, again, I've always said this. I'm very like susceptible to nostalgia bait. Like if they throw nostalgia bait, I will take it. But like I feel like for Gen Z, it's like they like the aesthetic of like Y2K stuff, but they don't remember some of the negative aspects of Y2K, um like I guess like size zero obsession and like low rise jeans, and like because it's like a tailored version of Y2K. It's not the real Y2K. Like Y2K was ugly. Like those ugly fur coats. Like look at like S Club 7, like frosted lipstick, like nasty, ugly. Like I mean, it was a vibe, but it was also really ugly. Like I feel like this is like the updated version of Y2K. But I feel like Gen Z is like kind of similar to millennials in a lot of ways, because I've, again, like my youngest friend is a cusper, but like when I was at orientation and I was talking to a lot of people who were like Zoomers are like not that radically different. Like they definitely act different, but I feel like their differences can be chalked up to them being younger. Like, them not being... Like, I feel like if you talk to a Gen Z that's 25, which is, like, their second to oldest Gen Z-er, like, before being a cusper, like, they really don't seem that much different. It's like, they'll just, like, not know certain things that you would be like, oh, remember this? And they'll, like, no, I don't remember that at all. But besides that, like, they seem very similar. Like, the younger Gen Zs, like, might be a little weird, but they're also, like, they're, like, 11. Like, they're 12. They're, like, in middle school. Like, that's the youngest Gen Z is, like, in middle school right now. So, yeah, I mean, middle schoolers are weird. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I love kids, but middle school kids are, like, where I draw the line. Like, I do not like them. Like, I see them, and I, like, viscerally am like, ew. Like, I don't like middle school kids. Like, it's weird, too, because once they get to high school, I'm like, you guys are still kind of annoying, but at least, like, I can accept it. Like, middle schoolers are gross. Like, I see them, like, smoking cigarettes in public, and I'm just like, you guys are nasty. Like, and like, they always, like, right now is the time of year where my sixth graders have become middle schoolers. Like, officially. Like, they've checked out. Like, the last 2 months of them studying doesn't matter to them. They don't care. They have, like, become middle school boys and girls. And it's like, the girls are less so, but the boys are very much like, you know, they watch Yadong. They, like, are annoying. They think they're hot stuff, and I'm like, you are 12. Like, it's not cute. Like, the girls, that's the funny thing too, because I feel like in middle school, like, girls that are, like, 6th grade and middle school up, the kind of guy that they think is cute is weird because he is technically older than them, but also he looks like their peers. I feel like that's why, like, a lot of, like, middle schoolers really love, like, idol groups, because, like, the guys look like their peers, but the guys are, like, actually kind of older than their peers. Anyway, that's another video. That's another topic completely. But yes, I used to teach Gen Z, and now I'm teaching Gen Alpha exclusively from next semester because they grew up. So I am going to talk about K Gen Alpha because I can't really speak for other Gen Alpha kids. So yeah, they're 11 right now, or about to be 12, or 12 and down right now. International age, not Korean age. I guess they're Korean age 13, but Korea got rid of that, guys. Korea is done, but nobody, like, actually stopped using it, so it's not done. I don't think people are gonna stop using it. Like, I don't think it's gonna go away, but yes. Okay, things that I noticed about Gen Alpha from my students personally. One is Instagram. Gen Alpha in Korea really likes Instagram, but the thing is, when you add them, they have 0 posts. There's never any posts. And I know this because I've added a few of my students' Instagram accounts to my Instagram account, and, like, mind you, I have, like, 4 Instagram accounts because I'm shady, but also because, like, they have different, like, I try to keep the vibe separated somewhat. But I let my students follow my, like, study, like, book related, study related, account. And, like, whenever I follow them and I look at their profiles, like, they never post any picture permanently. They kind of use Instagram as Snapchat, And so, like, they use Instagram to, like, show their stories, and they use it to communicate with their friends. Like, I think a lot of my students use Instagram Messenger as their main messenger to friends, like, opposed to, like, using Kakao. Because I feel like most of them don't use Facebook or Meta, whatever. Um, Most of them don't use Facebook, so they don't use Facebook Messenger, obviously. But then, like, the main messenger in Korea is, like, Kakao, but, like, a lot of them won't use Kakao because I think Kakao is kind of like your default text message versus being a chatting app. Because I feel like, even for me, that's how I feel. Like, I feel like if I'm sending someone a Kakao, it's kind of like official, like less official than an email, but like I feel like that's how I contact people that are like older than me, how I contact, like, like, I feel like Kakao is somewhat formal, and like chatting is like on like other apps, and I feel like most of my students use Instagram as their like chatting with friends app, and then the Kakao is um like, I mean, they have like classroom chat rooms. Like, their teacher might make a chat room with their class. So I feel like Kakao is more where they do like serious things compared to like stuff that they do with their friends. And yeah, I think that's where they flex. Like, that's like the students that I'm friends with right now on my Instagram account. They're like, whenever I get a notification and I click it, it is like pictures of their food or them hanging out or them at like places that little kids go. But yeah, that's what they use Instagram for. They do not post photos that are permanent, which is funny because this one is like, I guess the next bullet point is like, they're not that internet, not savvy. I guess savvy. Like, they don't have any sense of internet danger. Like, even though it seems like, oh, they're being really private by making content that like disappears after a period of time. Sure, that's true, but their Instagram handles are often their full names. Like, they will just be like their Instagram handle might be like Park Ji, and then the year that they were born. So like, like 04 or something. It's like, I would never make my Instagram or any like account thing my name and then my birth year. Like, what? Like, that is a very like boomer thing to do. But yeah, they do it, and I'm just like, you made your profile your name, your age, and then in the info you said, I go to blah 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 elementary school. Like, are y'all trying to get kidnapped? Like, I would have to delete my child's profile if that's what they were doing, because I'd be like, son, you are so stupid. The other thing, the next thing, which like ties in, is like, they have a lot of comfort towards new technology, but they don't know how to like troubleshoot when it doesn't work. So my students are very, very, very insanely comfortable with like talking to Siri or Bixby or Google. They will just like, because they have like a little like thingy in their room, like the little clock that's like Google or Bixby, and they'll just be like, oh, like, hey Google, what time is it? And like, it'll just tell them. Like, they feel so comfortable with it. Like, they'll be like, hey Google, play Blackpink. I don't know any Blackpink songs, but you know what I mean. Like, they'll just be like, hey Google, play like New Jeans Ditto. Like, they're very comfortable with it. And then, like, because I was in their room like during break time, and they were just like talking to Google, and Google was playing a song, and then I was like, okay, time's up, and they were like, okay, like, like, Google, caught y'all. Like, they are so comfortable. Like, they just feel like it's very natural to them. And like, for me, like, this is my like millennialness. It's like, I feel weird talking to like the robot. Like, that meme where it's like millennials being polite to Chat GPT just in case it like decides to overthrow the humans. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I feel very weird talking to a robot. Like, using Chat GPT is crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like my students feel really comfortable with stuff like that. But then, like, if the internet stops working, like, if the Wi-Fi is not working quite right on their tablets, they don't know what to do to, like, make the internet work again on their tablet, which I think is, like, very bizarre, because they're, like, very good at using the tool itself, but then, like, they don't know how to troubleshoot it, or, like, they don't, like, they will be really confused if, like, I showed them, it's like they won't watch tutorials of something. Like, I showed some students that they could, like, make different layers in, like, the painting app, and they were like, oh, how did you know? And I was like, bro, I literally, like, watched some Indian dude tell me what to do on YouTube. Like, I'm not a genius at, like, technology. This was just something I looked up. So, like, I feel like even though they have a lot of information at their fingertips, they don't actually take that information. They just, like, assume it's there, but they're not, like, looking for it. Which is funny, because I feel like for millennials, they told us, like, oh, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. And, like, we do have a calculator in our pocket, but then, like, we will use the calculator in our pocket, where Gen Alpha is kind of like, well, who knows? Who cares? So, like, I don't know. That is coming later. That's another bullet point I made later. The second thing, or third thing, I don't know where we are. They don't have physical music or physical media. Wow, I just jumped to the conclusion of music. They have no physical media that they keep, but they do use libraries. So, my students don't have any, like, I wonder what their room looks like. They have no books of their own. They don't, like, buy a book to keep. They only use library books, which, like, I condone that, because when I was in elementary school, like, most of the books that I read in elementary school, I would never look back at them right now. Like, those were just, like, for the time being. And I used to check out, like, 30, 40 books from the library at a time. So, of course, I didn't want to collect all those books. Like, I condone them for using the library. That's great. Good job. But they have, like, no books that are like, oh, this is my favorite, I keep it. Like, I have it at home. They don't have any physical, like, music. They did not know what a CD was. That was, like, a shock for me. One of my students at my rural school bought, like, a CD. Like, I think it was Ive. I don't know. It was like an Ive CD. They bought it. They opened the thing and a CD fell out. And they said, what's this? And I was like, that's the album. And they were like, yeah, we bought the album. And I was like, no. Like, the CD is the album. And they're like, yeah, but it has, like, a QR code. We can download it. And I was like, yeah, but the CD also has the music on it. Like, that's what you paid for. Like, you paid for the album. The rest of it's, like, the photo book and all that. And they were like, oh, why did they give us a CD? And I was just like, what? Bro. Like, are CDs, like, the new 8-track of society right now? Like, that's crazy. But they don't, like, yeah, they don't have any, like, I can understand not having CDs. I don't really have CDs anymore. I have a few CDs, that I've gotten in Korea, because I was like, I just want to have this. But, yeah, I understand not having, like, CDs, but then they don't have the files either. Like, they don't have MP3s of their music. They kind of, if like, those students that bought the album, obviously they do. But I mean, like, most of my students will, like, only, like, just stream music. Like, they're just, like, they use Millen or something. And, or SoundCloud. A lot of my students use SoundCloud, which I was kind of surprised that SoundCloud is popular in Korea. But, because it doesn't seem like it is, but a lot of my students use SoundCloud. They might be using SoundCloud because it's not age restricted, but anyway, yes, they don't have any, like, physical copies of anything, or, like, files of anything. They're just, like, very perfectly content with, like, streaming everything. And I don't know, I'm like, in a phase where I'm, like, thinking about, like, it's not like I have like streaming service. I don't even pay for any streaming services, but I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of in a phase where I'm like, I want to just use things that I actually have, like, and because I bought that like manga filer thing, like case, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't read half of these. I need to read them. I need to like read the books that I have. I need to like use the notebooks that I have. I need, like, I don't know. I'm an analog person. I very much like analog stuff more than I like digital things. Like, of course I love digital things, but for like certain things, like I feel like if it's a book that I'm like, I just want to read this and like know what it is and get rid of it, like that, I'd be like, this is perfect for an ebook. But then other books, I'm like, I want to have this book like forever. Then I like actually want to buy it. But anyway, yeah, they don't have CDs or books or comics. They they read webtoons. They have nothing that they own. They just like consume it. They also like to call by video on Kakao more than they like voice, which I think is another millennial thing, that millennials prefer to just use a phone call or text rather than like a video call. Like, I feel like a video call is so like intrusive if you haven't like planned to meet your friend on a video call. Like if I'm just like in the grocery store and I'm like, oh, I wonder which one I should buy. Like I feel like a video calling my friend and be like, which one do you like most? And like make a little live chat of it is a little bit like, what is the word? Like, buramsuro. Like, it's very, like, intrusive to have to do that. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like your friend has to be ready to do a video chat with you. Like, your friend doing a voice chat, like, they could be, like, sitting on the toilet. Like, who cares, right? But, like, a video... But, like, my students, like, whenever they call people, like, when I see them in the hallway or whatever, they will, like, they'll open their Kakao, and then they'll, like, call mom or whatever. And then because, Kakao, the song, the little sound is different when it's a phone call or versus a voice chat or video chat. So when it's, like, like, when my students call, I always hear the, like, do 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 do, because they always use video chat every time, which like I think is insane. Like I'm just like, okay, cool, not for me, but cool. They also have, this is the next one. They also have spending money. They have allowance, like, and I don't know how to categorize this, because I know that before I lived in hashtag ghetto dong, right? Like I lived, like the kids would actually ask me if I could buy them something to eat or whatever. But that being said, I don't think my current dong is like hashtag bougie. It is not. Like I said in the last video, like this area is kind of ghetto, but like my students, they have money to spend on like snacks that's not like the little like cup tteokbokki or like the Pikachu or like the little snacks that are like near school. Like they actually like go to restaurants and like buy food. Like even if they buy it together, like, even they pitched in, they bought like food in a restaurant. And like I've seen kids like drinking bubble tea, and I'm just like, where do you guys have this money from? And I do notice that there's like two groups of students, right? There's a group of students that like go to like academy. They go to like Hagwons from like when school's over until like maybe 6 or 7. And like those students, usually I feel like they don't really have like spending money, but like where would they spend it, because they're like in their academy that whole time. But then there's other kids where it's like their parents were like, well, here's $20. Like, don't kill yourself until we get home from work. And those kids are just like out here making it rain, child version. So yeah, I don't know why, but definitely like Gen Alpha has more spending money at a younger age. They're also smoking. I'm gonna be real. I've had elementary school students that smoke, and I've had they've graduated, but they're still Gen Z, I guess. Like Gen Z is like smoking in middle school, and I don't know where they're getting the money or where they're like what Peony Jones are letting them buy the cigarettes without an ID. I don't know, but they're yeah. Also, like in Korea, like the young people still smoke cigarettes. They're not smoking the vape pens, but I think the vape pens are more regulated. But if they weren't, they would definitely be like popping those jewels too. Um, Next, they have very good focus when it's a video. Um, they don't have so much focus when it's not a video, but if you turn on a video of any kind, like even a video that's boring, they will like sit quietly and watch it. Like no matter the content. Like I showed them a video that I actually thought was boring. And I thought it was like too long because it like my co-teacher had found it and it was about like cranberries, like harvesting cranberries, and like I thought the video was boring. Like there was no like not no audio, but like there was no dialogue. It was just like cranberries being harvested. And like they stared at it. Like they were engrossed with the video, which is weird because when you talk to them, they can't focus for more than like 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes, like 1 minute. Like after 60 seconds is over, they're like checked out. I don't know. They can watch videos so well of anything. And I think this also lends to the next one is that they really like those really stupid degenerate phone games. Like they will play any phone game, even if the phone game is like the dumbest thing you've ever seen. They're like engrossed with it. Like, and some of the graphics are nasty. Like I don't get it. Because I feel like adult gamers are so like, oh, these graphics aren't real enough. This game's not nice enough. And then like, meanwhile, Gen Alpha is like making ice cream that has like poop as one of the ingredients. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like some of the games are just like really boring. Like they're just like tapping the screen. Like I don't get how that's fun. And I'll play boring games. I'm like guilty. I will play boring games, but like they play like like if I was that age, I couldn't play. Like I'd be bored. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, they can focus on video games really, really well. And like phone games are king. They all like playing phone games more than they like Nintendo games, or I mean, I feel like they're a little bit too young for like PlayStation. But you know what I mean? Like they only like phone games. And like they only like phone games, and if they like the phone game but they don't want to play it, they will watch other people play the phone game like on YouTube. Very weird to me, but yeah, they don't like to actually play it themselves. They also don't like to play games on the controller because they say like it's harder when they have to press the buttons and it's easier when they can just like touch the screen, which I mean, fair observation, but I feel like that's the fun. I feel like playing on like a console, there's like a learning curve, but like once you get it, you don't think about the buttons anymore. You just like do it. I don't know. See, again, millennial versus Gen Alpha, it's different, I guess. But they can focus on videos. It doesn't matter what the video is, they will focus. And they won't complain until after it's done. Like if they didn't like it, they'll say so after the video's done, but not like during the video. I guess they have some respect. I don't know. Anyway, they also have like really bad eyesight, and like I have bad eyesight. I'm like minus 5, minus 5.5. Like I'm bad. I'm real blind. But like my students are like really have very poor eyesight, and they will complain about not being able to see things, and you tell them like, oh, just come closer, and they still can't see, and you're like, I think you might need to get glasses. And then like some of them will get glasses and they don't want to wear them, but they still can't see, and I'm like, you should just put them on and you will be able to see. But they often complain about something making their eyes hurt. So like they'll watch videos like all day, but if they like read a book, it will make their eyes hurt. And I know that reading reading significantly does make your eyes hurt if you don't read often. Because I remember when I was in high school or middle school, like, I don't know, when I was still in school, like, during the summer, I did the summer reading program, but I mean, I read less than I read during school time. And, like, once school started, it'd feel like, the muscles, like, near your eyes would feel weird from, like, not reading. But, like, yeah, they will read, like, a paragraph, and then they'll be like, my eyes hurt, I don't want to do this anymore. They also say that their hand hurts after, like, writing, like, 3 sentences. They're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't write anymore. They also can't spell. I don't mean English. Like, I mean, they can't spell Korean. And, like, you know, I get it. I am, like, kind of an idiot at spelling. And, like, it's not even like the pachim. Like, I'm actually, like, an idiot. Like, I'm like, oh, like, is this, like, supposed to be, like, sangshit or not? You know, like, that's where I question things. Like, I'm dumb at spelling it, like, the sound. I feel like pachims I memorized because it's the second language. I, like, saw the word and just memorized it as it is. So I don't really have a problem with that. But I have a problem with, like, just, like, regular spelling, I feel. And also, like, spacing. I'm not great. But, yeah, my students are bad at spelling. They're bad at writing. They write horrendously. I have a few kids that write English way better than they write Korean, which I'm a little bit confused because I feel like English is hard to, like, line up on the, I don't know. They're unique. Gen Alpha is unique. And the last two go together. One is they're more childish. I feel like for their ages, they're, like, a bit more childish than previous students. Like, I feel like my 5th graders act like 4th graders, the 4th graders act like 3rd graders, the 3rd graders act like 2nd graders. You know, like, they seem, like, a little bit, like, delayed of youth and, like, things that they're interested in and, like, games they want to play and, like, being, like, a little bit more naive. Like, I feel like they, like, got delayed, and I don't know if that's COVID or what, but they definitely are, like, more childish. And, like, it's kind of charming because they're kind of cute because of that. And they also are, like, really easygoing with their peers. And, like, it doesn't matter what gender their peer is. Like, they are pretty easygoing with, like, boys and girls. But they're kind of lazy. They're really lazy. Like, I feel like there's a lot of kids in my class that I'm like, you are very dumb. But I don't know if you're dumb because, like, you're just dumb. Or are you just, like, really lazy and you don't do anything. Like, it's hard to tell who's dumb and who's lazy because most of them are pretty lazy. And they're, like, very lazy in a sense that they don't want to be anything. So, like, my students are like, oh, what do you want to be? And they're like, I want to be, like, a rich Beksu. Like, I want to have no job and have money. And I'm like, well, like, you can't do that. Like, what do you want to do? What subject do you like? And they're like, I don't like school. Like, they don't have any, like, ambition to be anything. And I'm just hoping that they just feel like that because they're in elementary school and they just don't know what exists out there right now. But I feel like before, all my students would be like, oh, I want to be a flight attendant, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a pro gamer. But now that, like, they dead ass look me in the eye and say, I don't want to be anything. And I'm like, shocked Pikachu. Like, what do you mean you don't want to be anything? Yeah, I don't know. They're, like, really lazy, but they're also, like, really easygoing, and they don't really fight. And, like, when they do get into a fight, it's very stupid, like, naive. Like, they didn't even know that they were hurting the other kid. Stupid. Like, there was a huge blowout at my school at the beginning of the year, and you know what it was about? They were roasting this kid because he didn't go to, like, English Academy. And then their teacher was like, why were you bullying him about that? Like, his parents can't pay for him to go. Like, that's not a thing for you to, like, bully him about. And they were like, oh, we didn't know that he had to pay. We thought it was free. We thought he just didn't want to go. Like, this is them. This is real. This is me. They don't know. And, like, I had another kid, like, one kid was like bullying this, not really bullying him, but like he was just like making comments. And I was like, that's not really nice. Like, I think that kid's pretty cute. Like, why are you being mean to him? And then after I said that, it's like all the kids in that class were saying that he was cute. And I'm just like, y'all are so easily swayed. Like, I mean, I'm glad you're not bullying that kid anymore. That's rude. But like, that would not have happened when I was in school, like, at all. So, yeah, I don't know. I like Gen Alpha. They're weird and lazy, but I like them a lot. And I mean, I guess they're kind of our fault because they're like millennials kids. Like, they're our kids. Like, there you go. Um, yeah, I think it's hard to judge them because they're still really young. Like, they're 11 and below. They are still like developing their frontal lobes and whatnot, and they have a lot of weird things happening during their childhood. Like, I mean, a lot of us had weird things happening during their childhoods too, but I mean, like, they have a lot of weird stuff happening during their childhood. So I don't know how they will deal with that. And I mean, I guess it's kind of good that they're a little bit ditzy because I think they're just ignoring some of the stuff, like a lot of stuff, and that might be good for them. Honestly, I think it might be. But yeah, I would love to see how Gen Alpha comes out, which, like, I hope they come out okay because they're my students and I'd feel really sad if they didn't come out okay. But yeah, this week I'm going to be teaching them cursive. Like, check that out. Premium. They're learning English premium. But yeah, that's all I have to say. This video is entirely too long and it's raining very hard and I need a nap. So, bye.